Good evening, everyone. It's great to have you all on board. It's another time with Tutor IO, the enthusiastic tutor. And in today's tutorial, it happens to be our very first Telegram class on the course PCR271. PCR271 is a course for the Faculty of Social Science, students in the Department of Peace Studies and Conflict Resolution, as well as some students in the Department of Political Science, offers this course. And with me here today, I have Mrs. Deborah. She's a student in the Department of Peace Studies and Conflict Resolution. And basically, she has gone through the YouTube classes on the course, so she has a note with her. And here on Telegram class, which is restricted, which is exclusively for students in the private class, we will be doing a proper dissecting of what she has been able to grab during the YouTube classes, which we call the introduction or familiarization phase of the study. Good evening, Miss Deborah. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm good, thank you, sir. Good evening, Tutor Ayo.
It's great to have you on board, ma'am. So what do you have in your notes? Please, can we walk through that very quickly?
Okay, in my notes, I have PCR271, Understanding Conflict, and the subheading is the origin of conflict.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's the very first class we had on YouTube. Please, what do you have on that, ma'am?
Okay, I have here that conflict is derived from the Latin word confligere, which means to strike together. Conflict could also mean to strike, a fight, to battle, to clash, hostility, quarrel, and confrontation.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. Now, just before you proceed, because this course has the use of certain terminologies that might not go well with some platforms. All right. So I want to use the opportunity to announce this disclaimer. Now, on this stream, on this channel, what we do basically is to educate. We don't encourage conflicts. We don't encourage violence. We don't encourage abuse or instigate any of such. Basically, what we do here is just to inform, to educate according to the course material which we are having, which we do use according to the National University of Nigeria. So please, as we have been made to understand according to Miss Deborah about the origin of the word conflict, which is derived from the Latin word, all right, and lexically, conflict means to strike, all right, according to what she has said, which is absolutely correct. So please, ma, what do you have on according to what Quincy Wright said, what do you have on conflict, please?
According to Quincy Wright, 1990, defines conflict as what we call opposition among social entities directed against one another and distinguished from competition.
Exactly. Wonderful. Do you want to explain that to us very quickly, ma'am?
Okay. It says conflict as what we call opposition among social entities. So in a social gathering, let me say so.
Yes.
When there is no understanding or no agreement between two different groups, it could lead to conflict.
Okay. Mr. Patrick is here. Sorry. Mr. Patrick, can you unmute yourself, please?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. It's good to have you on board. I believe you've covered some volumes on the repository I sent to you as well on PCR271.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. So this is the very first class on this course on Telegram, and I believe you have your note there with you. So do you want to explain to us what Quincy Wright was saying about conflict in the year 1990? Very quickly, please.
Ironically, I just tuned in and I've heard that.
Okay, we'll allow you to.
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll allow you to settle in, and hopefully you can contribute later. So now, according to what you said, Miss Deborah, you're actually on point. All right, this is an issue of before we can have. Please, Mr. Patrick, can mute your mic, sir. If you're not talking, can mute your mic, please. So now this is the issue whereby we have um among social entities. Now, when you say social entities, we want to understand the fact that for you to have social entities, that means you have people. All right, we have entities, individuals living together peacefully. All right, and there comes a time whereby they begin to see each other as oppositions. All right, if they were oppositions initially, there will never be a social gathering, or they will never be referred to as a social entity. All right, so there was a time whereby these social entities lived happily. All right, there was no misunderstanding. All right, but when these social entities begin to see each other as oppositions, all right, then what we see is conflict around the corner. Very true. Thank you very much for that. So now, what do you have as what do you have under? All right, Chris Rice said a couple of things, but I wanted to go straight to what Chris Berg in 1973 said about conflict. Chris Berg in 1973. Do you have anything on that?
No, I don't.
Yes, I think Chris Berg. I think
Yes,
it's
sir.
a relationship. Is the conflict is between relationship between two or more parties that are incompatible in the goal that they are pursuing.
Awesome. I think Miss Deborah missed that during the class. Please, can you throw more light on that, sir?
Yes, that means it takes two to tangle, as it is.
Okay.
Because when it's a relationship between two or more parties,
yes, sir,
who believe they have incompatible goals, non-achievable goals, conflict that is resolvable between them at that point in time.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. So now, according to what Chris Berg said in 1973, now he says it's a relationship between two or more parties. All right. Now, just like almost the same thing what Quincy said, social entities. Now, for you to be in a relationship between someone, for you to be in a relationship with someone, that means at that point, both of you have something in common. Both of you see just like what Mr. Patrick said. Now it takes two to tango. Before a relationship can even exist, there must be a level of mutual understanding. That's what relationship is all about. All right, what I'm benefiting from you and what you are benefiting from me in return. That is why there's a relationship. All right. So, but unfortunately, when this relationship turns, when it goes south, or when it turns sour, just like you said, sir. All right. Then you begin to see that the two of you no longer see
anything in common
on the same pedestrian. Wonderful. Then we begin to see incompatible goals. All right. So now, this old definition still points at something, meaning that conflict does not happen in isolation. All right, there must be an impulse. All right, that leads to this misunderstanding. Okay, there must be a level at which there existed. All right, this mutual understanding. All right, relationship or coexistence at some point, but unfortunately things go south, and you begin to see that your interests no longer tarries or aligned. Yes, just like Chris Berg said here, incompatibility. All right, and basically conflict is around the corner. All right, and just like what I said in one of our class, GST 202. Miss Deborah, are you doing that course?
Yes, I'm doing it.
Wow. What about Mr. Patrick? Are you also doing that course?
No, sir. I'm doing 201 and 203.
Okay. You are in 211 first semester.
Yes, sir.
Oh wait, is it the same peace studies?
Yes, it was the general course, ma.
Okay.
GS202
I'll check my timetable.
Your registered courses, you mean? GS202 and PCR271, they have a lot of things in common. GS222 is also about conflicts, understanding of conflict and management of conflicts. But now, it is now a general course whereby you have other departments like other faculties like social science, faculties like management science can also benefit from understanding and, all right, managing conflict. We talked about something very similar in our last class. That was last week. And I told them that conflict is a natural thing, it's a normal thing, all right? And it does not necessarily means, it's not necessarily destructive, okay? And I used an example to explain that. I told them that there's a point you get to in life. If you don't go through certain conflict, you will not discover who you really are, all right? So conflict is not even about you clashing or you not having the same goal in a relationship. As an individual, you can experience conflict within you, right? And conflict does not necessarily translate into destructiveness. It could also be constructive, all right? But it depends on how you see it. It depends on how you manage it. It becomes destructive, then it takes away life and properties, right? But when it becomes constructive, it is used as a stepping stone to achieving greater things.
Goals.
All right? Or goals, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. So let's go straight ahead to a lot of definitions here from different scholars. But I want us to go straight to causes of conflict. Mr. Patrick, what do you have on causes of conflict, sir?
Causes
Mr.
of
Patrick,
conflict.
Yes, sir.
Causes of conflict, we have a conflict over resources.
Wonderful.
And then we also have a conflict over psychological needs.
Wonderful.
You know, today you talk about it when, what is his name? Maslow.
Yes.
Talked about the types of causes of conflict and the needs, social needs of a man.
Okay.
Then we also have conflict involving values. And then over inadequate information. These are the 4 causes of conflict that we talk about today.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, Miss Deborah, can you hear me, ma?
Yes, sir.
Please, can you shed more light on conflict over resources?
Okay. Conflict over resources is a type of conflict that is easily identified. That is a situation where resources are available are limited, and as a result, it breeds conflict. So conflict, let's say, in a situation where a disaster happens, and let me use an example where the United Nations distributes resources to different places where disaster happens, and when it is not enough for a lot of people, it starts to lead to complaints, from complaints to aggression, from aggression, and then conflict, and so on. So where resources are limited, it could lead to conflict.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, in line with what you had just said, ma, you know, when resources is inadequate, all right, when it's perceived to be inadequate, there's something that when it's perceived to be inadequate, then there's a very slim line between sharing of these resources adequately, all right? You can't share them adequately because it's inadequate, all right? Limited resources and everybody wants to get from it, all right? So some persons are getting more, some persons are getting less, some persons are not even getting at all. Then those that are not getting at all, then you have issues, they come up with issues, all right? Thank you very much for that. And there's this particular one that happens mostly in Africa, which is conflict over values. What do you have? Do you have anything like that in your note?
Yes,
conflict
sir.
involving values.
Yeah.
What do you have on that, please?
Okay, conflict involving values is a contradicting value system, such as religious beliefs, ideological position, and general worldview.
Wonderful.
So let me say conflict regarding values in.
Hello, ma.
Yeah.
Please let Mr. Patrick shed more light on values.
Okay,
Mr. Patrick,
sorry.
can you share more light on values, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Conflicts involving values, they are contradicting value systems arising from religious belief, ideological belief,
yes, sir,
cultural views or cultural differences,
okay,
religious differences, and the tribal differences may also result to conflict in values. They are also difficult to understand because they revolve. It's difficult to resolve. Like religious crisis now, for example, because of a different ideology on individual belief. Yes, it will be difficult. There are some people who are die-hard members of a particular group or society, what they believe. So it's difficult to pin down and then settle. So because of the different ideology they have.
Thank you very much. I know you have a better understanding of that because you are a clergy. I know you have a better understanding of that. So,
thank you, sir.
Especially in this part of the world, all right?
Yes.
Some persons, just like they are said, some persons are die-hard fan of what they believe. They are even willing to die, give up their life for what they believe.
Yes.
Right? And you can imagine you can imagine clashing with somebody like that. It will take a lot of effort to resolve such a conflict. So I want us to just our time is fast spent. Just 2 minutes to go. I want us to quickly talk on the types of conflict. Miss Deborah, you can continue from the types of conflict, ma'am.
Okay. There are several types of conflict. For example, one, intrapersonal conflict, and this is the type of conflict that occurs within an individual.
Wonderful.
Two, intra-group conflict. This conflict happens between members of a particular group.
Wonderful.
Three, national conflict. This is a type of conflict that happens within a nation, within a country. And then 4, international conflict. This type of conflict happens between nations, just like Russia and Ukraine. Gaza and Israel. And all of that.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, thank you very much. So I want us to call it wrap here for today. We've been able to talk extensively on, and from our next class, we'll be taking off from the classification of conflict. But I want us all to please, before our next class, which should be next tomorrow, I want us to please cover a lot as much as we can, so that we can move at a very fast pace. I want us to finish this course this week, if possible. Start another one. Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick.
Thank you too, sir.
Thank
you,
sir.
Madam it's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure
Thank you too. God bless you. And our wonderful teacher, God bless you, sir. I enjoy your class. Good night.